Okay, class, I've done a couple of adjustments to my screen recording software, so it should be picking up things a little bit better. The audio should also hopefully be a little bit clearer. We'll find out in a minute. Let's go ahead and do a slightly more complicated pattern. Let's say that we were just, well, I've got a mouse, but let's say that we're just drawing something. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new file. And again, since the instructions require it, we shall make it 2 by 2 inches. This assignment, much like the curves assignment, requires a lot of file maintenance, a lot of bookkeeping to get these things going. And you want to get this right. That's a big chunk of the grade. So, do that. read the instructions one more time before you turn it in. I know I say that a lot, but it's super important. So let's just do a quick doodle here as I knock over the microphone, ruining all of the sound adjustments that I did. Let's go ahead and move that over. There we go. That should be a little bit better. There's a microphone on this laptop that's a secondary microphone, and even after disabling it, sometimes it'll still pick up sounds for some reason. It's a driver issue as far as I can tell. All right. Let's go ahead and do some quick adjustments. So tapping the keys makes some terrible things. So I'm just going to hold down the Alt key. Using the right mouse click, I'm going to move left and right to make it larger and smaller, up and down to make it blurrier and softer. So I'm just going to do something fairly soft. And let's pick a color. Let's go for, I don't know, purple. Now I want you guys, well, or lavender, I suppose. I want you guys to, do something beautiful, push yourselves, make something complicated. But since I don't want you to have to watch me do this for about half an hour per pattern, we're just going to do something very, very simple. And keep in mind, this is not a quick assignment. This is one that takes some time, so hopefully you've been working on it a bit over the weekend. And if not, now's a great time to start her up. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little doodle here, and I'm going to go to Filter, Other, Offset. And instead of doing horizontal and vertical, I'm just going to do horizontal, shift up arrow a few times. Since wraparound is selected, you can see, and we can see because the preview is going on, we can see that there's a gap here. So I'm going to come in using my mouse. I'll just draw something right there. Now I'm going to make another layer, and this time let's go ahead and pick another color. We'll do kind of a light blue. So on my new layer, I'm going to go ahead and draw, and I'm going to want to offset this as well. Notice now I've got layer 2 selected, not layer 1. So of course, Filter, Other, Offset will only affect this one layer. That's great. Tell it OK. That's exactly what we want. We've got another little doodly thing going on. Awesome. Let's go ahead and make some more doodly things. We'll go ahead and go in here, put this one between the two. We'll use a red color this time. Maybe oh, I didn't want that to happen. There we go. Maybe a lighter red. So we'll just come in here, switch it to brightness. Oh, let me just drag this up to make it brighter. It's a little saturated. Switch it to saturation. Drag that round down to desaturate it. Isn't that fantastic? And put it back to hue when you're done, so everything looks how you want it to look. Tell it OK. All right. So now I've got this layer. Just draw another kind of pastel squiggle. I like that squiggle. And Filter, Other, Offset. And this time instead of horizontal, I'm going to go vertical. 200 seems good. Whoa, I really missed. So what I'm going to do is paint over, take my eraser. Sorry about that. Hope you guys are okay. Apparently I should not touch that part of my computer. Take my eraser. And I want the eraser to be as soft as the brush was, so that I don't have any weird things. Ooh, actually, I kind of like that. I'm going to make it softer over here as well. There we go. Kind of have it very soft. Soft touch. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. All right, so we've got some wiggly wobbly things. I'm going to offset that again so I can see what that looks like. Okay, I kind of like that. Make another layer. Put this one on the top. Let's go ahead and make a blue. Kind of getting the idea now, guys? I need the brush. And I want that even softer. I really like that soft effect. Okay, so I'm going to loop this back around. There's a big gap. I'm actually going to undo that, knowing that there's such a huge gap. And kind of do this. Now we'll need to do both kinds. We'll go to Filter, Other, Offsets. And not just vertical, but also horizontal will let us see that we're missing a chunk here. So I'm going to do something a little different this time. I'm going to pull it up over here. Filter, Other, offset again. And that's actually looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Kind of a weird blob there. Grab this. Kind of bring it in. And that looks good. Let's do another one, shall we? Let's just grab it over here. Filter other offsets. Tell it okay. So I'm going to keep moving it in. I'm going to do the same offset, so I'm just going to use the filter, the previous one, Control F, offset. Ooh, a little too far. Shouldn't have done that. Control Z, other offsets. Where are you? Let's get this. There we go. Over here. All right, that looks kind of interesting. Let's take it a little further. I'm going to add on a mask here at the bottom of the layers palette. Just click the mask button here. And I'm going to mask off this blue. So it's kind of pulling over. Yeah, a little more. So now things get tricky. I'm going to say that this is the last bit we want to do. So I want that to go away. But remember, copy's over to this side, so I need to do it over here too. I'll leave that so that it kind of winds in and out. Whoops. X to invert. Now I've got the white here. That will let me paint this back in. X to invert for the black. There we go. So I can just, painting on the mask layer lets me change that around. And maybe bring up the pink here. Okay. Now this is all right. Now this is not a great pattern. This would not get you a good grade on this assignment. I want you guys to go a little bit further, but this should be sufficient for the demo. So now's a good time to save. So this pattern will be, I don't know, color full lines. Tell it okay. So we're going to do something a little interesting. We're going to Control Alt Shift E. That is the same thing as this flyout menu. Notice that we have the merge visible, which is Shift Control E. Shift Control Alt E would be create a new visible merge. So that's the same thing as just doing holding down the Alt when you click on that, and it will create it. So merge visible is a little interesting too. When you just do the shortcut Control Alt Shift E, you have to make sure that you've clicked the top layer, most layer. Otherwise, it will just make it from that one down. So if we, for example, just grab this Control Alt Shift E. Oh, not this time. Okay, so let me correct that. Sometimes Photoshop will glitch out, and it will only create it from the one you have selected down. Watch out for that. If it's causing you weird problems, just click the upper one. So we're going to add some dots. So I'm going to make another layer here. And let's add some green dots, I guess. Bam, 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 bam. Kind of random dots, maybe bigger ones. Bam, bam, bam. And let's go ahead and offset that. We'll just use the short here. Filter other offset. I'm still getting some feedback. Sorry about that. I'll have to adjust my audio settings again in a minute. Bam, 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 bam. Control F to do the offset again. Control F to do the offset again. Maybe some deeper blues. Control F. And I'm just filling in these white spaces. Now I'm going pretty heavy-handed on this, and that's okay because I've got a plan here. And we'll add in some reds, so this won't be the last step here. Control F. Make that a little bit smaller. And maybe some yellow ones just for a punch. Some more feedback. Sorry, guys. I'll adjust those audio settings in just a bit. Control F again. So again, Control F is just doing the last set of offset sets. I guess the last, it will repeat the last offset with the same commands and controls that we had last time. Some orange ones. Control F. So I'm going to move this around a little more carefully. Offset. I want to just take a quick look. Aha, there's that gap right there. So fill in that gap, that gap, that gap. All right, now that we've done all that, the reason that I wasn't super concerned, I'm just going to come in here, lower the opacity a bit, and change the mode to, well, let's say screen. No, I don't like that. Let's change the mode to soft light. Don't like that either. Let's change the mode to overlay. kind of yucky. I'm going to leave it at normal. Good to play around. Well, I guess we could do one darker. The multiply, also awful. We'll just go ahead and leave it at normal. All right, so we've got all this. So I'm going to go ahead and save it, Control S, and I'm going to define the pattern. Edit, define pattern. I'm going to call this lines and dots, I guess. Dots. All right, so that gives us another pattern. So let's do one more pattern to kind of give you the idea. Oh, and just to let you know what this looks like, let's go ahead and test that too. Control N, and set it to inches, set it to 10 inches, set it to 10 inches, tell it okay. All right, and again, you could go edit, fill, pattern. We don't want to do that. Instead, we're going to come over to our layers, use an adjustment layer, do a pattern. All right, now this is kind of what I was talking about. Notice that this is not a great pattern. This is a pretty bad pattern, actually. The white squares in between, along with this line here, kind of makes it look like a weird square. If you look at the handout inside of the files folder on the Canvas website, you'll see what I'm really looking for a little bit more. It has what's good, what's bad. This one falls into like the in-between category. It would need some extra work. In fact, why don't we take advantage of that? So this is a square, right? Which means that we can do some fun stuff, such as image size. And we're going to set this to 2 by 2 inches, 2 by 2 inches, 300 DPI. Tell it okay. Now things are getting more interesting. So we've got that pattern. That wasn't a super great pattern. And we're going to create a new layer on here. Take this brush. Wow. Some bad feedback. Sorry, guys. Take that brush. Put in a dot. Now let's actually make it a super hard brush. Put in a dot. And now add in a mask. And I'm going to shrink this down. Wow. And I'm going to shrink this down. Go to X, shrink this down. Going to X, shrink this down. X. X is just flipping the color, the foreground and background color. Shrink this down. X. All right, so we've got this going on now. So if we set this to multiply, that's a little more interesting. So let's go ahead and take that square as well. And we'll go filter, other, offsets. Oh, now that's kind of a different way to do it, isn't it, guys? Tell it okay. So we're going to have a little more fun. I'm going to duplicate this one again. Let's do a different color. So I will control click. Since there's only one dot on here, the other pixels are clear. It will only select this circle. We're going to fill this with, say, the opposite of orange, which would be teal. Oops, assuming that I have that layer selected. There you go. We got teal, and so instead of multiply, I'm going to make this a light mode. So screen should be good. Wow, that's super bright. Lower the opacity. And filter, other, offsets. Whoa. Well, actually, that's kind of neat. So I forgot to deselect, so it was doing some funky stuff. So I'm going to deselect, Control D. That's the same thing as select. And then deselect, Control D. Filter, other, offsets. Now without any selections. And okay. Now that should be more interesting, don't you think? Let's go ahead and test it. So we'll save this one as colorful lines and circles. And we'll go edit, define pattern. Okay, this should be pretty crazy. Let's make a new document, and this document will be, again, switch in the inches. So the reason that it keeps bouncing around is whatever I have in my edit buffer, you know, when you go Control C or edit copy, that goes into a part of the computer called the edit buffer. Photoshop reads that and it goes, oh, hey, that's 374 pixels in this case tall, and in this case 321 pixels wide. I'll just set this to the clipboard, and it's because I have the clipboard preset. I could also do the default Photoshop size, which is whatever you set it to. Do US paper, which is the letter paper, all that stuff. Do custom, which, you know, will change to automatically when you start editing it. 10 inches by 10 inches. All right. Anyway, little sidetrack there, and do a pattern. Oh, that's much better. That's pretty weird and wild, right? All right, I'm digging that one. A little too much orange, I think, in some areas, but otherwise pretty good. Okay, stay tuned for the next way to make patterns using the offset filter.